Okay, so now we're going to start with the fifth case that is presented in front of the tribunal. We are calling it the West Coast of Extraction. We're going to look at what is happening in our ocean when we talk about blue economy, ocean economy, and other things that fishers are facing. So I'm calling on Sadia Kadwa from LRC to come and read the indictment.
Good morning, everybody. So the fifth session of the Fisher People's Tribunal, the first to eighth applicants, I'll read them one after the other, are Saldanha Bay Small Scale Fishing Community, Port Nolloth Fishing Community, Akatoa Small Scale Fisheries Cooperative, Ebenezer Small Scale Fishing Community, Papendorp Small Scale Fishing Community, Dorangbai Small Scale Fishing Community, Elandsbai Small Scale Fishing Community, and Paternoster Small Scale Fishing Community. The 9th and 10th applicants and claimants are Coastal Links Western Cape and Coastal Links Northern Cape. There against, the first accused and respondent is the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, who's usually referred to as DMRE. The second respondent is the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, or DAF. The third respondent is Mineral Sands Resources. The fourth respondent is Tormund Mineral Sands. The fifth respondent is Transhex Group. The sixth respondent is Butcherberg Resources. The seventh respondent is Elexcos Limited. The eighth respondent is Searcher Geodata UK Limited. And the ninth respondent is Car Powership South Africa. This is set down for a hearing on the 14th of August, 2024. Number one, this is an indictment against the first and second respondents for, firstly, failing to protect small-scale fishing communities, i.e. the applicants' right to food, culture, and dignity, by failing to meaningfully consult affected communities and thereby excluding them from decision-making that directly affect their rights. Secondly, failing to consider the cumulative impact of the extractive activities on coastal communities, and in particular the negative impacts that extractive activities have on the environment generally, as well as specifically in relation to the livelihoods of the small-scale fishing sector. Thirdly, failing to apply the principle of small-scale fisheries policies' preferential access to resources by limiting the rights of small-scale fishing communities to exercise their trade, livelihood, and culture through restricted access to resources and environmental degradation. The second is an indictment against the first and second respondent as well for, firstly, unjustifiably limiting the applicant's right to a safe and healthy environment as protected in Section 24 of the Constitution by actively permitting various mining, extractive, and exploration activities that is not sustainable and not justifiable given the harms caused to the environment. Secondly, failing to consider the needs of the small-scale fishing community's right to food, culture, and dignity, and their right to work by ignoring the negative impacts of mining, extractive, and exploration activities on the environment. The claimants therefore seek an order in the following terms. First, the cumulative impact of extractivism be considered in the context of climate crisis when allowing companies to continue extracting off the coast of South Africa. Secondly, where various extractive industry activities will have a detrimental impact on the environment, especially where this impact shall cause people's rights of access to food is limited, that the exercise of these mining rights only be granted if it is constitutionally justified. Thirdly, small-scale fishers' rights to preferential access to the ocean is defined by the small-scale fisheries policy must be implemented. 4, that a moratorium on any new mining or extractive rights on the coast and shore be implemented until such time that the first and second respondent can show that they understand and consider the cumulative impact of the extractive industry on the right to food, a healthy environment, and to freedom of trade and occupation in related to affected communities and others in order to enable them to do a balancing of these opposing rights. Fifth, the mining and extractive industry activities may not be used as a reason for restricting small-scale fishers' access to the ocean. And sixth, further and/or alternative relief that is deemed appropriate in the circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadia. I now call on Sylvester Don from Papendorp, Western Cape, Walter Steenkamp from Port Nolloth, Northern Cape, and Mary Al from Claymont, Western Cape, to provide testimonies. I should say we also were going to hear a testimony from Carmelita Monster from Saldanha Bay, but unfortunately she had some health issues and she cannot be here with us today. Thanks. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sylvester Don. I'm from a fishing village called Ebenezer, there in the northwest coast of South Africa. As a fisherman, we grow up along the Olifants River. My father, my friends, my family, they will start learning me. And how older I was, seeing how our fishers was distracted by a certain mining company. But for us, that was not so visible. And since Transex was coming on our way, along the northern banks of the coast and the northern banks of Olifants River, up into the community. And for us, it was very difficult trying to get fish because they was using the river mouth for the way to bring all the mining materials what they extract along the coast, bringing into our river and use that as a channel. At that time, they was busy to extract our water from the river, and the water was at that time muddy. Now for us, it's very difficult to fish in such a water, and for us to see how the declining was becoming, and the fish was all begin lesser and lesser in the river. Ebenezer, Papendorp, Doringbaai, these communities, they live very, very close to the sea, to the river, because fishing was the only source of income, the main source of income in that particular areas. And over the past time, the time goes on, there was a lot of companies came in to our west coast. For instance, MSR, Tolman, Pukubai, Transatlantic, Nisarox, and etc. There's a lot more. And for us, it became visible that we see how our community began to suffer under these circumstances because of access was denied. They're trying to push our fishers away up 12 kilometers from the places where the fish was actually caught. And then we're trying our best to begin to connect with other organizations to come and have a say in the damages, what we see over the last years, what these mining companies bring to us. At that time, there was formed a community-based co-management structure, what was certainly talks about these issues around the estuary and along the estuary up into the Clanwilliam Dam. And then the fishermen talk to these through this structure so that their voice can be heard. And then trying to find some sort of ways and means how they can stop these minings from extract our waters, pollution, everything around the ocean. Even such as that our birds is going away because of the ecosystem around the ocean where they live from. And then, through that co-management structure and civil society groups, they trying to organize and mobilize to let our voices can be heard on a higher level. And that is where LRC and other players come in to help us bring such a case that we can bring all these damages what we see bringing to the court, that they can be justified around it. And then, that is where the court case was favoring our. And then, after that, these things was not stopped. These things was continue. It began out difficult for us to get food on the table, such as the state that some of our fishers left the community to looking for other opportunities where they can get food on the table for their families. And what we see over the time, the days, the years that goes, it was extremely difficult to find any source of food because of these damages and the continuously of these mining companies. Then if you look at the overall impacts that these companies bring to us, is that they pollute our water. They deny us from getting to our fishing grounds where we always fish. And there's no more fish that our communities can make a living out of it. So much so that are looking for other alternatives such as agricultural. And for us, it's difficult because our community, we see our community suffer of these things. On top of that, then another thing come to on our path is the oil and gas. And what we see there is that South Africa coastline is already divided in blocks, where those big companies from overseas can come and bid on that blocks, looking for oil and gas. Then, for us to believe that there will nothing happen is minus. Because if something happen in the ocean, what will be left for us as communities, Papua New Guinea, up to Elands Bay, into the north? What will happen to our communities? Then one thing what I left out is, around the mining is, if you look at the advertisement, what they do, this is in a small block, where fishermen is not really like to buy a paper and read it. Because that is not big enough for them that they can see, and then it's not visible for them. And it's likely often that these things, fishermen don't see that as an advertisement, what was coming to our communities, making us aware of these things what happen in our community. So for me, our community, the question what we raise is, how many bridges must we cross to get an answer or to get a sustainable life? Because if you look at all these impacts around us, I don't know if we as communities have another generation who live out of this ocean. Yeah, let's give thanks.
Yeah, good morning everyone again. I don't know why I'm always in the problem side, but I love to be there because every good story had a bad ending. And every bad thing got a good story. So yeah, my name is Walter Steenkamp. I'm from the Northern Cape, Port Nolloth. About 800 kilometers away from here, about 8 hours drive. I'm also the chairperson of Okatawa Fisheries. I'm the national chairperson of Coastal Link Northern Cape, who represent my small-scale fishing community in Northern Cape, but especially the name that the department gives us small-scale fisheries. So yeah, I'm also a founder of a group out of youth in Port Nolloth, and that group's name is Environmental Trade. I'm also a guy who loves everything that is on Mother Nature and care for everything that God gives to us. So yeah, the work I'm done is not that money paying me for what I'm done. it is a passion and love for what I have. And it's also a purpose to be filled. Yes, I want to tell you a little background of Port Nolloth. Port Nolloth is a small place, about 14,000 plus people is in Port Nolloth. About less half of that 14,000 is actually the real people who belong to Port Nolloth, who are born in Port Nolloth, who are born there and who will die there. The other people, more than half, are people who are coming from different places because they see Port Nolloth like a place where they can come and make a better life because there's more opportunities in Port Nolloth. It's like we got all the richness that side. So people see that kind of opportunities, like minerals and all that kind of stuff. So in the first place, Port Nolloth was an export town before Cape Town. And all the equipment and food and clothes and everything was coming with 2 big vessels to Port Nolloth harbor. So everything was export to train and vehicles, transport to the different provinces and places. So there was a lot of life in Port Nolloth that days. And that was the days when I can remember what happening in Port Nolloth when I growing up. So fishing was there. And there was one big fabric, Okotwa Fisheries. Also, my mother was working in that fabric. Even still today, I haven't got a relationship with my mother because she was working day and night. I was just here at the fabric where she was working to give her food so that she can carry on with her purpose. My father was a fisherman as well. He was working also for the white capitalists coming in South Africa from Scotland, Owenstone. And they was using, I call it, it's a slavery, working for a white man, because they was just giving peanuts for what they was done, but they can provide for the family. But the whole amount of that product was going out of our country, and of that money was going out of our country. So I call it slavery and capitalism. So yeah, that was the way I was growing up. It was really nice because my father was a fisherman and I became in love with the ocean from about 14 years old. And since that, I'm active on the ocean until today. So I am 36 years on the ocean. So after the export was closing, the mining was taking over the Beers in Elixkor. They mine more than 100 years in the Northern Cape and extract minerals, diamonds. So few of the communities, or few of the people in the community was working for that mine, Elixkor and the Beers. And the others was fishers. And fishing was our life. We as fishing community, we was depending on the ocean. And we was going to the ocean for healing as well, just to look at the ocean, to stare at the ocean and calm yourself. And yeah, so that was a nice thing for me to learn, the way I was growing up, to making connection with the ocean. And so there was a lot of different towns around us, and there was a land claim in 2003, Rachterveld land claim. Port Nolloth included the 5 towns around it, make it 6 towns. So in that land claim, the local governments and people on local government, they sat around the table and decided Port Nolloth are excluded in that land claim. And that is where it is still today, that Botnola are excluded in that land claim. And that Botnola didn't benefit out of any land claim money or anything that was given for that land claim. And people from the Richtersveld was giving some money, but I think 4,000 rand was the most that they get from that land claim, and that land claim was during the year 2003. And 2007, they formed an agreement with Elixcor. And Elixcor is a state-owned company. So Elixcor get 51% of the whole pie, and the community got 49% out of that pie. So Elixcor extract all the diamonds and minerals out of that area that they had the right to work on. But they got also sea mine concessions that they have to work. So that time, 2018, we coming away. So 2012, they were signing that, 27, they were signing that agreement with Elixcor. So 2012, they was beginning in Elixcor next to the beach to start building some coffer walls. And yeah, I got some evidence here to show the jury so that they can see themselves with their own eyes. The mess that the mining company create with a contractor that contracted the area to work for Elixcor. And the way they was done the coffer walls is a bad manner to work with any animal or anything that are alive on Mother Nature. They're building some roads in the sea, long roads, about 4 meters wide, about 20 meters long. And they block the ocean away from the landscape, and they dry up all that water in the ocean. But the way they throw the rocks in the water, they're taking rock and old quarry stuff that's coming out of the mine. And that stuff got a lot of pollution in it themselves. So the way they're coming with that big trucks, with them and the signboards stand there on the beach, showing no heavy vehicles allowed on the beach. But next to that sign, that vehicles are working. I begin to get warm. So yeah, the way they're using that vehicles to tip that load in the ocean, they're smothering all that livestock, dead, they kill it. So it's heavy rocks, heavy metal that they use to throw in the ocean, that the ocean never can remove or clean it. And that dust that rock leaves behind in the ocean, leaves the ocean white like milk. So it makes it also danger for some delvers to go underwater. So just to make some food for his children, it makes it also danger for them also. So for me as a fisherman, I coming beware of this about 2018. The diver, Yaman Delvers was coming to me and asked me, Walter, what can we do about that situation? I tell them, we as fishermen in our permit state that we got 365 kilometers of zone that we as small-scale fisheries have in the Northern Cape that we can work. But actually we are excluded in the mine. DMRE, I don't know, I cannot say what is the reason they didn't allow us to go in the mine. Yeah, some of us fishermen are criminals, but that is a life. To making some life for your family, that making you a criminal. So you are becoming not just a criminal sometimes. So some of our fishermen are criminals, and I'm honestly. And that became making it difficult for us as fishermen to go and catch our livestock. And we need that livestock to make a life for our family. But they didn't allow us in the mine so that we can get access, so that we can get that stock out of the mine. But they can destroy it and kill it like they want to be. And that is not the right thing to do. Because you must respect everything that God put on Mother Nature. So the way the extractivism was done was for me as a human being, live human being. It was very emotional. We wrote a letter to Barbara Creasy, the Minister of Fisheries and Department, about the date was 13 October 2021. The letter here, Jonathan, you can show the jury. And that letter will show to the jury how the fisherman was feeling inside him, the way he was writing that letters, to all that negative impact that the fisherman can include in his mind, what will happen in the fish, in that livestock and in that area. So today, that rocks lying around, the ocean cannot clean it. And the environmental assessment plan say that you must use sand to build that walls. And they didn't use sand to build that walls. They used heavy mineral stuff to building that walls. So 2023, the Green Scorpion report coming to us and saying that they finding Alex Gore guilty because they haven't got any environmental impact study. So that is the way the government is operating, because he's the big boss. He can just make and do what he wants and kill everything like he pleased to do and sail us out like we as activists can already see. So yeah, the second thing I want to say, you guys, is that I want to go to Boegoebaai. Boegoebaai is also a sensitive thing for us because, you know, when you are using green hydrogen or talking about green hydrogen, then you had a lot of water needed for that. And we know South Africa is a water scarce land. We as communities already suffer with drinking water. Drinking water is already dirty, that one that we drink. So already we suffered it. And the way they want to do that green hydrogen is to suck some ocean water out of the ocean. But they was never consulting us as fishing community, who are the first affected people around that area, who must be consulted in the first place. They consulted the communities around me, the towns around me, around Port Nolloth, and most of the communities are not in this for this Boegoebaai harbour project, because for these communities, Boegoebaai is a very sensitive area. There are plants growing, unique plants that you get nowhere else in the world. And that is the Boegoe plant. And it grows just on top of that mountain. And if you're going in a square corner of a box, of a big box, you will get more than 140 plants, different plants. And that plants are there for a reason, because everything on earth got a reason. I believe that, I don't know, but I believe that everything got a reason. So that plants are there so that that plants can take out that pollution out of the air and put some fresh air in that light. So if you destroy that plant, the community will become faster sicker. If you take the one away, the other one will have the consequences. So yeah, that is the kind of impacts that the Boegoebaai have. They were building a desalination plant also right next to the beach, and they're going to suck the ocean out of the water out of the ocean. So what they going to do with that water. They're going to take out all the salt in the water. They're going to take out the ammonia in the water also. In the water, because the sea is giving us 75% clean air. The landscape are dirty. So there is air also in that water. So they separate everything. But what they going to do with the ammonia in the salt? The ammonia, they're going to build it underground. Big tanks like I hear. Big tanks, they're going to build it underground and stock it there. The salt, they're going to put it back in the water, in the ocean. What's going to happen? Everything going to become salter and die in that area. Believe me, every little livestock that are growing there will be die at the end of the day. What will be the end of the day? The answer for us as fishermen? Our livelihood is gone. It's not that we are against development. Understand me right. It's not that we are against development. But in South Africa, we got a lot of natural resources that are very cheaper than this kind of fool. I know this kind of structure that the government and overseas people bringing to us. They're fooling us. You cannot fool everyone. Ne? So if we can use these natural resources that we have here in South Africa, then we can give all the community sustainable work. Ne? But what can that oil and gas companies promise to us? And what can Boegoebaai promise to the community? Because they need a big landscape to generate some power. And we need food. You cannot come and take our land away for nothing, just for things to stand there. But in the meantime, we are hungry. Come and give and help the people on ground. You don't know what the people want on ground. You're coming with your plan. You never consult the people. But already on top, you're taking decisions. Overseas, you're going overseas, tell the King of Netherlands, nobody is living in the Northern Cape. It's only Sandoon. Huh? Nobody is living there. That is a kind of wrong message that are going out of the country of us. They're selling us out to other people. And we was never consult. We, as South Africans, was never consult out of that marine plan that they are putting together. We was excluded in the first place. We was excluded. Now they're coming to us. Huh? It's not right what our government are doing with us. We are not children that play around. We are growing up. We are big people. We want to be treated like people. And then I will come to the oil and gas companies. I got a lot on my stuff. Can I get 5 minutes? I believe I will finish up 5 minutes. Sulzer was the first. Sulzer was the first oil and gas company that are coming to my place in Port Nolloth. They was putting papers to the walls and inform the people what date. But in that time, they putting the papers on the wall is the week before they want to start a meeting. Just a week. So in that week time, I hear about that meeting, and I go that day to the community hall, and I found myself is only 6 people, with myself is only 6 people in that hall. And I asked them, how can you come to my place and you put a short notice on for my people so that they can see about that short notice? You cannot do stuff like this. You come in the back door, look like. Make you visible that people can see. Shell was forcing his way. He was coming a few times to Port Nolloth. So that me and my environmental youth trade form a lot of protests against searcher in our town, self, next to the beach, to demonstrate that we are very unhappy about all this oil and gas companies. And we are coming with my angel Wilmin, he's our lifesaver. I coming in contact with Wilmin, I tell Wilmin I'm very unhappy about this thing of search that they coming with short notice to my community, and it looked like he coming in the back door, so he didn't give enough time frame and so that everybody can be informed of this meeting. And I give Wilmin a lot of headaches, and we sign a lot of letters to the Department of Fisheries. Yeah, I become a problem child to all of them, and still today. And we're winning that court case against, we're making a court case against searcher. And we, Okatawa Fisheries Small Scale Cooperative, in 2021, in September, we sent that appeal. And in March 2022, we're winning that court case against searcher. Here come the other one, what share total is the other one. That are coming to our communities and holding also a stakeholder meeting in the communities to inform the communities about what they are planning to do. And they was bribing I call it bribing. They was giving the school children local clothes that they was going to pep stores and put the stickers of the names of them on that bags from the school children. So everywhere where you look, children from behind, you see Total Energy. And it was for me a big problem because I see things coming. And God upon me like this, I can see what is really happening. And I see that Total are coming to bribe my community here. And he making us as parents looking very bad. We cannot provide for our children to buy some school clothes and stuff. So we was, especially me, I was feeling very bad about that treatment. And he was coming. Two guys in the Northern Cape was working for Total Energy who tried to spin the people's mindset in Port Nolloth to say yes for Total Energy. So Total Energy was coming to my place again, a second time, and we was holding a workshop, invited Neville. Say thanks again, Neville. Because sometimes in your own place, people didn't believe you. But if someone else coming from another place, he believed that guy. So I plead to Neville and I ask him, Neville, please man, bring the whole South Africa to my town. Just to open my people's eyes. Because my people look like donkeys, they didn't see the things that are going on. And, time. They didn't see the things that going on, and believe me, just 2 days we was having a workshop around global warming and oil and gas and green hydrogen, and the third day Total was coming there, and I must cool off my people, tell them, no, let Total coming in and let him talk a story there. And when Total coming in, they was just putting out the jackets and put it over the chair, and one of the oldest aunts was standing up and chased them out of the building. And I was the one that cooling off my community, don't hurt the people. That people just work for Total. It's not the people that come and done the damage. They are just workers from that people. And it's just for money. And we know money, we will done anything for money. That is my people because they suffer. Already the mindset of them are messed up with drugs and money, people coming in my place, bringing the drugs and all that kind of stuff. So already they didn't think which way to go. So yeah, they're chasing Total away out of the place. And we say the Total, we didn't allow them to pump any oil and gas in our ocean because we love our ocean. And the Total never come again to us. So yeah, the third one was Shell. He was coming also to us and inform us what he's planned to do, to come and drill in our water. And we asked Shell, the damage in Namibia that you're causing there in that river, did you clean it already? The damage in Mexico that you struggled 5 years to clean, did you clean it already? Bring films for us like this so that the people can see what the negative impact is. Because believe me, all the time you hear is there's job. But the negative impact people tell you. So that's why I am, and the negative impact is very heavy from the oil and gas. Maybe the jury will ask questions, I will ask on, maybe answer on this. But it's very heavy, the oil and gas danger, damage that they cause. And if the damage are done, money cannot repair the damage. Ne? So we cannot eat money. We cannot eat oil and gas. Come and help us. We know what to do. Ne? We just say no for the one, but we say yes for the other one. Thank you.
Ja, ek het weer eens gaan praat.
Thank you. I think that the connection between the different testimonies from the opposition to this extractivism and effective opposition from fishers to what now is happening in terms of companies trying to come to leaders in communities and convince them to come on board, I think it's very important. But let's open now for the jury, for questions, comments. Paula.
Thank you so much for your testimonies and sharing your experiences with us. In previous days, we discussed how fishers prove that they're sustainable, but I think the key question here is, how are these companies proving that they're sustainable and that they're bringing development to these peoples? Maybe this is the right question. What are the evidence that they're providing to operate and to continue in expanding their extraction along the coast? What is the evidence of their social and environmental impacts? And how is the government that has a duty of care vigilant of this? How is the environmental impact assessment happening? Who is doing this? And who is checking that this is taking place? If you could offer some insights on that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So the question of environmental impact assessment, I think, connected to who is doing these assessments, who is hiring these people to do this assessment, and how, I think also how those processes are going. I think you can speak to that. Let's see, are you going to take this one?
For us, is these processes of how they came to us and show us. They come with a lot of technical stuff. And for us as fishermen, they don't really know how they compare that information that they gather out of that assessment, how they can come to us. They come to us and leave it there in a public place like a bibliothèque, for instance. There is where these assessments end up at the day. And evidence, if you look at the evidence, what they show to us is, there's not really much good things what they show to us, what these kind of information that they bring to us, show us. The minor impacts what they will do. Now for us is, if you look at the things, how the things was we done over the past years, and how the flow of these companies coming to us, bring this assessments and tell us so much nice stories. And for us, our people, some of them believe, some of them not believe. Because all these things end up in promises of work. So that is what I really think what they come to us and bring us this sort of information.
Yeah, thank you again. Yeah, they're coming to our people and show the slides there. You can see already these people are good in what the job they have done. They know what they have done. But to my community to show some pictures didn't happen. You must show videos so that people can see the reality of what is really happening. And I must say that the studies that they are done is just there, the area that they will want to work. But the impact is not actually there. The impact is further. We as fishermen of Port Nolloth can say this because we can see this here, the behavior of the sea animals, especially the seals and the whales. They are attacking us as fishermen. They're becoming scared of all the noises under the water. So they become addictable. And that make our lives in a dangerous spot, in a dangerous situation. So don't look just there where you done the work. Look further. And if that oil and gas rig are standing outside my town, that flames that are coming out of there, it's a lot of pollution that you put in the air. And my people are near to the coastline. So they will be the first one who will become sick. And that is the kind of things they must come and tell the people, inform the people, so that the people have a free prior and concerns about what is really happening and going on. Thank you.
Mary, very brief. We have very little time left.
Vir my, in my dorpie blameer ek ons munisipaliteit.
So in my town, I blame the municipality.
Hulle gaan soontoe, hulle praat met ons raadslede, hulle praat met die burgemeester, maar hulle praat nie met ons gemeenskapie. Hulle doen alles agter toegeslote deure.
So they would basically go to the municipality and have meetings, private meetings with the municipality, but they don't come to the community and speak to us.
Hulle kom nie na ons toe om te kon luister, wat is ons probleme in ons viswaters nie.
They don't come to us as fishers to listen to our problems as fishers or what's happening in the ocean.
So ek voel meer dat ons moet meer inligting kry by die munisipaliteite. Ons moet meer dat ons plig maak om te gaan staan en sê in elke vergadering as dit kom by die vissermense moet hulle vir ons inligting gee.
So I feel that we should go to the municipality and also to these meetings to basically demand that they give us answers to our questions. Thank you.
Johnny and then Milan. Maybe we take all the questions
Hello?
and then we reply. So go for it, yes.
So again, I thank you for the very important testimonies and the documentation we had. I wonder whether my question is for you, for those who are prepared indictment, because the situation appears to me so, on one side, so incredible from the point of view of the obvious violation of environmental rights and conditions, and especially the fact that it's a policy which is supported by so many powers at the government and the other things. That I wonder whether, on the other side, I must say that is a very classical situation for mining industry. In other side, I remember in our verdicts on fracking, the same policies have been applied fully in many countries, in the States, and in fact, even pictures in film have denounced that and nothing happened. I wonder whether here the very important resistance of the communities, which are now threatened also by corruption, by just promises which are clearly impossible, whether there are not other groups in the country or at the African level who are joining this effort, because I think against the mining industry here, the situation is somehow different from what we have seen for the other communities, where there was some more, say, cultural first. Here, the pressure is something which is so devastating for the overall image also of South Africa. I wonder whether no other forces are available already in South Africa to join the efforts, because otherwise I think that the isolation of this community, because of the specific threat and the because you have attempted everything, and again juridically you have also won some cases, but then nobody care, and things are going on. So I wonder whether you can respond. I don't know, otherwise just to know where we could see for further information for the verdict. Thanks.
Thanks. For the sake of time, let's take all the questions at once and then we can respond.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the very powerful testimonies. I have several questions. One is, for all these kinds of projects, a very basic principle is to get free, prior informed consent of communities before you proceed, right? So that means you have to provide information that people understand in the local languages. It means you have to have consultation, and then you have to have consent. So in that process, I can hear from the testimonies that none of this has been adequately done, right? And so I wanted to hear a bit more about how have these consultations taken place, and what has been the communication between all of you and the government and the authorities that are involved in ensuring that the next step is not taken if the first step is not satisfied, So that's very important. The second question I have is, who is funding these projects? Are there international funding organizations, international agencies? Because if there are, these agencies are also supposed to have a requirement that we will not fund the project unless certain steps that respect the rights of local people are. And in that context, I see from the documents that all of this is following the UN, the UN blue economy concept, right? So is the community aware of this UN concept? Has anyone from the United Nations come to the communities to talk to them to see that this is being followed in the right manner? And my final question was, do you all feel that it is possible to have mining without affecting the rights of fishers? Can the two coexist? Is there any kind of alternative proposed by institutions in South Africa that this can happen? And I'm thinking of this because I'm against this kind of thing, but I'm thinking because there's so much money involved, there's so many powers, like Gianni was saying, that we have to think about that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ben.
Thank you. My question follows on from the one that Gianni asked, which is about who your allies are in the struggle against mining on the western coast. And to answer Gianni part, there are large coalitions of organizations of different kinds who've come together to fight against extractivism on the west coast. And they include environmental NGOs, they include public interest law firms, but they include groups such as surfers who want to go on surfing in the ocean. So there's a wide coalition. My question for the comrades here is, do you feel that those other organizations who have brought in small-scale fishers to strengthen their case against mining, will they stay with you? Will they support you over time? Will they go on supporting you? And if you have worries about that, maybe you should begin to raise that question with them so that they honor you as well as their own struggle. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Okay. Who wants to take a first step? And then we will open for the floor as well. Walter.
Yeah, thank you very much. The first question, I must say, I hold a lot of workshops in the townships around me. If I take out my phone and I sent a message. I sent it to 14 towns, little towns around me. And that is the way I connect the people and bring it together like this gathering today. And what we are doing in this workshop is I got my youth, and they are very smart and intelligent, and they got matric everything. So we show them exactly what is global warming, so that people understand from the beginning what is global warming exactly. And if you know what is global warming exactly, then you will make a better decision at the end of the day about all these developments. So that is my first answer. Second answer I want to say is that all these companies who come into the communities bringing dividedness. They're dividing us out of each other. Because some of the people in the communities are business people, and they're seeing this for opportunity. And we as fishers see this for a threat. So it divide us as community in two parts. Then I will say the funding that we as communities get to hold these workshops on ground level is from Green Connections, Mercy Fondisi, and we say thank you again for them to help us to open our people's mind and eyes. And then I will say, I was have a lot of international people, especially Netherlands, Brazil, Portugal, Europa. So I was have a lot of guests, and still people were coming and connect with us from overseas. And they were coming now on the 7th of October. They will come and make a film in the Northern Cape so that we can send our voices out. And that was the thing that I was done with the people who was in Port Nolloth from overseas. I was taking him around all the places, showing him the planes, every little thing in the Makwalan. I was showing them. They was having the drones in air, so they was taking videos, everything, so that it going out, so that our voice can be heard. And then Rainbow and the fishers. Yes, we can live together, really. But do it on a small scale. And do it on a right, proper manner. Don't use heavy rocks. And before you use that area, make sure that you involve the fisheries so that we can see and do a research together and monitoring so that we can see what is in that area. And then I want to say about our allies. Yeah, we got a lot of them worldwide, like I say already again. And then we're about Mercy Fondisi and Green Connections and all that kind of people. I believe the struggle is not ours. The struggle as fishers alone. The struggle is our all together in one. So I believe somewhere we will get help and funding so that we can carry on with this beautiful work that we have. Thank you.
Yeah, I will emphasize on that because for us is to working with other partners and organizations. That is actually the partners who put us in front. Our local partners in South Africa, as well as the partners overseas. And then the other thing is, we don't know well about Operation Pakisa and the blue economy because our officers are so minor in these things of Operation Pakisa because if you look at the manner how Operation Pakisa do his things to us as communities, these things like fall out of the sky. And ever since fishers don't know really about these developments and all these destructive things in the sea and around him. And then the blue economy. our fishermen, is hearing very few of that, because for them is actually to fish for livelihood is the only thing what they want, and have free access and to better and strengthen their life and community. So that is all what fishers want in their life, and out of this whole illusion what they are in. I thank you.
Thanks. I do want to add on the partnership and alliances. Indeed, in the last few years, I think we have seen a lot of support coming to fishers, and fishers being in the front, because indeed there is right in a constitutional level also so strong when it comes to these issues. But I think that the core, and one of the reasons why we are having this tribunal, is also to say to those that have come in support around mining or oil and gas, to also hear the other struggles the fishers have and be in support of those as well, because we cannot pick and choose which part of the fishers' identities we like and we want to support, because it fits our own other purposes in terms of what our priorities are. So I think that is something that is very important to raise. I do want to open up for the floor, but I also want maybe to just recap some of these questions and be translated so that they are very clear for everyone. Some of the questions that we've been asked is about prior informed consent. Now, and then this is why I'm opening up, because of course this is an issue in the West Coast, but it's an issue all over the coast. When these mining or oil and gas projects or other kind of projects are coming to the communities, how well are you informed? Do you know about it? Do companies come and speak to you? And do you feel that that's sufficient? I think that's the question. The second question that maybe also we need some of the experts to help us respond is around funding, not funding for the fishing communities, but who is actually putting the money behind the big companies to do these projects? Where is that funding coming from? Do we know about that? And then in that, are we aware, when it comes to a blue economy in South Africa, the blue economy project is Operation Phakisa. Is anyone ever come to your communities to actually explain what this blue economy is? And then the big question, I think, is, do we think it's possible to coexist between mining, fishing, and oil and gas? I think that's a question that we have been asked. And yes, the one about the allies, do we feel that those that have come in support around these projects are also supporting us overall, or are we feeling that the support is there just for specific issues? I think those are the questions that the jury is asking. Jonathan, Boyce, if we can just translate them, and then we open the floor for a few interventions.
Okay, Ngosi. Imibuzo ezanyubuzwa ngotata apha. Manqale ngalona wogqibela. Ubudlelwane okanye insebenziswano phakathi kwethu singabantu abadobayo, abantu abalobayo, kwakunye nezinhlangano okanye imibutho lesisebenzisana nayo. Ingaba le mibutho okanye izinhlangano sisebenza nazo ziyasincedisa xa into ijongene nathi singabadobi, okanye sibancedisa xa into ijongene nabo kwale into isiza kubadobi nabo bangasincedisi. Enye into abayitshoyo ukuthi ngesikhathi bethatha izinqumo zika Operation Phakisa, ingabe kukhona na abantu abazile kumphakathi bazowuthetha kanye bazokhulumisana nathi ukuthi iyini lento kuthiwa i-Operation Phakisa, okanye kuthathwe izigqibo phaya akaziwa uzocacisa ebantwini. Kwakhona okunye abakutshoyo kulento ye-oil and gas, ingabe kuyaziwa kuzothethwa nabantu phambi kobana ezi zinto zibe ziyenzeka, okanye zigqitywa phayana kungaziwa nokuziwa eluntwini okanye kumphakathi lowo umthelela uzophuma ngakhona kanye bazoba nengxaki nalonto. Okunye abakutshoyo into ethi ngobani ngaba bakhona na abantu esibaziyo engabo abafaka imali kanye abaxhasayo lamashishini afuna uzokwenza oluqhushumbiso kanye lento yokombiwa kweoil. Bakhona na ongxowa ababaxhasayo ilapho. Thanks.
Ja. So de eerste vraag gaan rondom free, prior en informed consent. Met andere woorden, was ons genoegzaam, wat is die woord nou? Ingelig rondom vergaderings, public meetings en zulke goedes wat gebeuren in onze gemeenschappen. Want uit de getuigenissen hoor ons nou dat soms kom die olie- en gascompanies en hulle kom plak net die goed 'n week of 'n paar dae voordat hulle die public meetings hou, kom plak hulle dit op in jou gemeenskap. So kry julle genoegsame informasie, was julle vooraf ingelig oor sulke dinge wat gebeur in jou gemeenskap? Die tweede vraag gaan rondom die fondse. Wie fund die projekte? Wie fund die olie- en gasprojekte? Wie fund die projekte wat so die distraction in onze gemeenskappe of die mynbouprojekte wat aangaan in onze gemeenskappe? So wat die vraag is eintlik, wie is die mense wat betaal vir die goed om te gebeur in onze gemeenskappe? Die vraag nommer 3 gaan rondom die Blue Economy of Operation Pakisa. Is daar iemand in jou gemeenskap of van die olie- en gasmaatskappye of mynmaatskappye wat vir julle kom verduidelik het rondom wat is die Blue Economy of wat is Operation Pakisa? Vraag nommer 4 gaan, kan mining, olie en gas en fishing, kan ons saamwerk? Kan het saam bestaan? Kan daar 'n future vir die twee saam is? En dan nummer 5 gaan rondom onze vennote. Wie is die vennote? Wie is die mense wat ons help tijdens onze struggles? En die laatste vraag gaan is ook rondom die vennote, is dat sal hulle saam met ons die fight tot op die einde. Dankie.
Ja, ayogqibela ndilibele iluba ngaba ingaba le oil lento abantu bafuna ukwenza lento luphando le-oil kanye ukugrumba lento le-oil ingaba ngiyakwazi uhlala usebenzisana sithi thina ngapha siloba kwelinye icala ababe besenza lento yabo yele-oil. Sure.
Thanks. Mr. Nchokos, Lindani. We do have about 15 minutes max for this session because otherwise we're not going to get to the last case, and I do think that it's important that the tribunal hears all the cases. So let's keep that in mind.
Enkosi, uyathanda ke imizuzu ibulala uthi mibini. Nayizolo kangunike chance bendifuna uthetha izolo. Wenze ngelihlobo. Kwelicala ndizoya kwelicala lenantsika okuthiwa iba khona na unxibelelwano nge-oil and gas ne-mining ezinto ndiyazixelelwa na. Thina ke phaa e-Eastern Cape okokuqala funa niyazi uba xa ndisiva kuthethwa uba sifanani ngezinto, ngezimvo nangempatho. Phaa kuthi izinto ziqala kumakhosi, kwi-king, kuye kwi-king, i-king ivume, kungekwayiwa kuthi. Yenye into eyenzekayo leyo. Andizohlala kakhulu kapho ke. Apha kwi-mining ne-gas, thina sixelelwe iprimiya yethu yaya phaa kuthi kuCendane eWavecrest kule area ndihlala kuyo. Yababiza bonke abantu beprovince, yonke iprovince ne-national yayikhona. khona apha kumasifundisi sendiboleke ezi banners bendiqala ukuzibonisa izolo oba xa ifika ipremier necabinet yayo ifike kukho iibanners ezinjeya ezixelayo uba ilwandle silithengisi ne-mining asiyifuni ne-oil and gas asiyifuni. Ngelishwa ke wasithumela umqwathi wakulo mqwathi uba uMafilika. The time kufika ipremier sithi Mafilika sifuna uveze ezi zinto uthi Mafilika asifihleni masingangeni apha intente enkulu. Wathetha ipremier phaya sabona abantu bonke bayavuma bamamele ngoba abantu abazisileyo apha asingobantu bale area yethu bale ndawo yethu yi-Eastern Cape yonke nge-9 August last year. Wababeka pha bavuma bonke abantu bathi i-oil ne-gas zihamba kunye ezo nto ezo. I-oil ne-gas and mining sanukuva abantu bathi i-mining ayifuneki ayidibani nanantsika ne-fishing. Ezo nto ziyafana ezo ziyadibana zisebenza zonke. Namakhosi avuma. Into eyaphelisa loo nto kukusesiveze ezaa nto siye kwelaa nto kaMafilika ahloniphe umntakwabo uGqwetha. Sakhuphe ezaa zinto yathi ipremier yayeka ukuthetha. Nethi basiveze ezaa zinto sithi oil and gas asiyifuni. Nditshuthi ke ezi zinto ke zisiphatha kabuhlungu ekuhlaleni ngoba kungenelela abantu abakhulu. Umzekelo khona ngoku batshintshile ngoku basizele nenye into bathi si-smart town. Abayisapha ukuthi bathi sesinezele yiyoli into apha ecala kolwandle funeka nisukile nina kuhlala abantu abane-income nihambe nina niyohlala phaa phezulu. Kodwa thina sasizelelwe phaa ootata ababezelelwe phaa. Utata wam yena wazelwa ngo-1910 ezalela kula area. Kodwa ngoku kuthiwa funeka sisukile phaa siye kwenye indawo ukwazi uba kuzohlala abantu abane-income phaa ngaphakathi kwenziwe ifem kwenziwe ntoni nale migodi. Shuthi ke yenye intlungu esinayo phaa. Masikubulele ukusebenzisana nezi ntlangano siwenza nazo ezifana ne-TCOE ezifana noMasifundise. Ngoba last besibanjwa apha sancedwa ngubani? Ngumama uJackie. Sibanjwele ukusebenzisa intlangano kungavumelekanga ngelaa xesha le-COVID. Sabanjwa wathi umntu omnye 10,000 ukuzikhupha phaa. Kodwa ngelishwa ke loo case leyo sayiwina sincediswe yi-TCOE sincediswe ngubani? Ngumama uJackie azise ezintlangano. Sathi elo tyala saliphumelela elalikhokelwe nguMadevu lubelapha izolo uJeff Butlander. Sasikhokelwe nguye kwinto yamanzi sibanjiwe. Shuthi ke ezi ntlangano zingafana ne-TCOE uMasifundise ziyasinceda xa sisebunzimeni. Siyazibulela kakhulu zona ekusincedeni. Enkosi Mqwathi, thanto yakho.
Enkosi Bawuthangane. Enkosi Bawuthangane. What Mr. Nchoko is saying is that when it comes to consultation, it differs depending where you are within a country. In Eastern Cape, the consultation always comes through the door of the traditional leadership. What the department will do, they will consult with the local chiefs, and then if the local chiefs agrees, and then it means therefore that they as a community, they are the subjects, so they don't have a say. And then also on the issue of the mining and so forth, last year on the 9th of August, it was the provincial celebration of Women's Day. Luckily so, it took place in his village, which is in Tentane, Wave Trust area. So I was sent there by Masfundi. Say, unfortunately, I share the same clan name with Gwete Mandashe, who is the minister. I'm Umkwati, Gwete is Umkwati too. And then what I did, I brought along the banners which are hanging on the wall. So they wanted to take the banner while the premier was speaking. So I said, no, don't do that. So that was their cry, because they wanted to prevent the premier speaking. So they only heard about this mining issue when the premier was making his speech there. Luckily so, they managed to take out some placards that were kept underneath the carpet before the police got there. So when they took up the placards, then the premier was not able to continue with his speech. And then also on the issue of the alliances or the organizations that we work with, they are so grateful because they do assist with their struggles. Just like in 2020 during the COVID time, 10 of the leadership from Tentane, they were having a meeting discussing means and ways of getting water in order for them to wash their hands, because we all know that during the COVID time, we were all required to wash our hands, so they were arrested. And then Jackie was informed about the arrest, and then immediately they informed the alliance partners, so they were released, even though they were fined 10,000 rand each. So we are still in that battle in order for them at least to have water run. There are water taps in his community, but there is no water coming out of the taps. So that is an issue. And then Jeff is one of which who led that when we took the matter to Tata High Court. And then what else? Yeah, that is it. That is it. Yeah, that is it. That is it. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Mautangana, sorry. Now, what they are doing now, they are coming up with this concept of the small town. If you are saying that, okay, you are anti-oil development, we're anti-oil grilling. So they just come up with a new concept to say, we're talking about now smart town. What this smart town issue is going to do, they are to be, it's another form of forced removal, but in a smart way. His father was born in the same village in 1910. Now, you can go back in history, they were forcibly removed during the apartheid time. Now, you are bringing the concept of smart town to say that we have to develop the community, but doing so, you will need a space. A space, it means they must relocate. So that is that is it. Thanks.
Okay, Clarence, but very small, and also Jacobo, because we have heard a lot from you in the last couple of days.
Hello? Yeah, I just want to get to the point where Professor was asking about the prior concern. It's not really happening. It's not happening. The route they choose is via the municipalities. And these guys are very ignorant and arrogant. So, in terms of any new development, the people will get the information through the council. That is how it happens. So that in itself is a big concern. And even about the UN Blue Economic, we are not aware of community people are not really informed about that. And I just want to help Auntie Rose as well. Auntie Rose, it's not for us to go in and ask for information from the municipalities, it's the other way around. They should come to us and ask from us what is it that we want. Because in the Freedom Charter it says that the wealth of this country will be shared amongst those who work this land. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not apologetic about that. Lady from Colombia, Mama, I welcome you in the country. I'm the title deed holder of this country, not President Ramaphosa. not the ANC government of everyone. I am the title deed holder. And I just want to brief you, Mama, clearly. These people, they lie. Not the government benefit from that. Not the small communities, they are not benefit from that. But the ones who benefit is the rich men. Because they are powerful. These people are using that money for themselves to go buy in the moon. When those projects of NASA and all these things, let me tell you one thing, people. They're using this money to go in the sky looking for a planet. And they destroy the earth. And when they come back, they will destroy everything. And after destroying the planet, they will find a place up there in the sky, in the moons, and then they will see. They will take every DNA of every plant, every animal, and then they will go build for themselves a place to stay. Don't be fooled by this. I thank you, lady. Think about it. Don't be fooled by that.
Thanks, Jacob. Okay, can we? I had seen another hand from the Fishers first, comrade. Andre, your hand was up, right? Lindania, up here. Okay.
I just want to explain a little about the process that they use with the public participation process. They have this process. Once the obligation is to them, these big companies, to appoint and consult of a consultant to do the process with the communities of the affected parties. And then in that, they come and show all the glitter and the glamour that goes with that. As the testimonies that we heard showed, there's nothing negative about it. And then we ask about it, where the negative impact. In fact, they say, when they establish these rigs or work opportunities in the sea, there will be a chance of an oil spill like 0.11 of 0.10%. And currently on the West Coast, we sit with a situation where there's an oil spill, despite of what they are saying or telling us in the public participation meetings. And then we said, no, we don't want these ventures to happen. We don't want this opportunity. Yeah, and it brings division. It brings different debates in the communities because of the unemployment situation that we currently have along the coast. So the next process is then government approve, despite what we were saying or what we are saying, that we don't want it. And then after that, there's an appeal process. And again there, we raise the same concerns and tell them again. And then they approve, or we get being approved again. So who's the culprit here? Our own government that we elected for. We were thrown under the boat, and then it's still continuing. Oh, and there's a lot of applications in the last 2 years on the West Coast. Nearly 20 applications that were brought before. And the Minister of Deaf is the player, the judge, and the jury. Because how can she also decide on the environmental issues where they appointed to giving rights or approve these applications? And that's the case with the application process. And the big companies is paying the consultants to do that process. So you can imagine, if I'm paying you, I want the results. I want a positive result. Thank you.
Thanks, Andre. Comrade.
Good morning, everybody. I just need to comment on the question concerning who is funding all of these projects. I'm 66 years old, And I've been part of the struggle since 1976, and this government has made pre-agreements with certain countries and certain companies which are now representing those countries. The agreements were made long before 1994. And these companies that are coming in now, even though there are criteria on how things should be done, these agreements has been made before 1994. And we are fighting these companies, but we need to fight the government because they have made this agreement with these companies already. And what we say and what we do, those companies will come in because there's pre-agreement with them long before 1994 already. For instance, you take the arms deal. We bought arms from France. That was a pre-agreement. And the monies that were paid for those arms was quadrupled to what it actually cost because of the pre-agreement. And whatever is happening now is a pre-agreement with this government already, and we should address the government on those pre-agreements. And our people were excluded in all those agreements. When it comes to coexistence, coexistence can't work if there's no co-management. And the system of co-management here does not work for the local communities. For instance, if you take the Eastern Cape, as it was said here, the chiefs have the say there, and the local people have no say. And in co-management in the Eastern Cape is that the chief is the person that is appointed to decide for the people there. And once again, it comes back to what I've said yesterday, that yes, culture is very important, but culture takes away the individualism.
David, and then I think we're going to close for this session. We can always come back to this afternoon. Thanks.
Mandibulise. Kunalambuzo ujingayo, ndiyaqonda bakhange uvele uphendule ukatata pha etafuleni. Lambuzo uthetha ngoba ingaba ingakhona na insebenziswano ekulobeni nokwenziwa ioil. Xa ndibona akunawukwazi ukusetyenziswana abantu bathi beloba ngapha kube kusenziwa ioil ngapha. Ngoba isizathu soba kungasetyenziswana and okokuqala xa kuzodrilwa la oil kunamatye pha phakathi elwandle and kuzawunyanzeliseka ukuba ngaba makubhombiswe phana. Once kwabhombiswa phana kufa yonke into ephana echaphazelekayo elwandle. And okwesibini intlanzi yafa, wena mlobi uzawuthi uyaloba ayikho into oyilobayo, kudlala uzuthola nto. Ngoba ukufa kwayo yonke into ephelwandle esindileyo ngelaki iyemka kwakuloo ndawo okanye kwakwelo lizwe. Kube senkangala mhlawumbi kuthathe iminyaka ngeminyaka iyawuziphinde ibuye intlanzi bekhona kuloo ndawo. Enkosi.
Boisilio Lindani, who is translating that? Please, very quickly.
Okay. On the issue of the oil and gas, whether the two, like with the fishing, can the two coexist? What Mr. Kongose is saying, the two cannot coexist because when it comes to oil drilling, it means therefore that you'll be using some bombs and so forth that will cause the species to run away, and then it will take years for the species to come back. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, I think let's close this session. The reason why I'm very urgent on this one is that some jury members, unfortunately, do need to leave this afternoon, and we do want to make sure they hear the last case. So I'm also going to say, let's try to have a quick tea, 20 minutes, come back by 20 past 12. The tea is served downstairs today. Thanks.